Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm Judge Executive David Vogel. We're happy to have you here today for this special meeting of the Oldham County Fiscal Court. We normally do not meet on Fridays. We meet on the first and third Tuesdays of each month, but today happens to be the last business day of the fiscal year, and we're going to pay all of our bills today for the 2018-19 fiscal year, and we have a couple other small pieces of business we're going to take care of today as well. So we welcome all of you. If you're able, I'd like to ask you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, Sheila Fair, our fiscal court clerk, will call the roll.
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Harrison. Here. Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon. Here. Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. I'd like to ask you to accept the agenda. The agenda has been posted for 24 hours, so we'll have no changes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And Ms. Fair, will you read the minutes of our last meeting now?
June 18th, 2019. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, Assistant County Attorney Tate Combs, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Albert Harrison, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Stephanie Hawkins, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the agenda, adding executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101B, real estate purchase. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the meeting minutes from June 4th. Motion carried unanimously. Public comment, none. Ballardsville Fire Protection District budget and tax rate presentation. Ballardsville Fire Chief Stephen Fonte presented information relating to its ad valorem tax rate and fiscal year 20 budget and responded to questions from the court. Environmental Authority District budget and rate presentation. Board Treasurer Art Henson presented information relating to its fiscal year 20 budget and rates and responded to questions from the court. Public Health Taxing District budget and tax rate presentation. Director Teresa Gamsky presented information relating to its ad valorem tax rate and fiscal year 20 budget and responded to questions from the court. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison, seconded by Magistrate Hounds, to authorize the Judge Executive to sign Oldham County Resolution 0106-1819 relating to Oldham County Public Health Tax Rate. Motion carried unanimously. Tourism budget. Tourism Director Kim Buckler-Hides presented information relating to its fiscal year 20 budget and responded to questions from the court. Sheriff Property Tax Settlement 2018. Lori Parson, Sheriff's Office Administrative Director, presented the property tax settlement for 2018 and responded to questions from the court. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Dye, to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the Sheriff Property Tax Settlement Report for 2018. Motion carried unanimously. County Administration, budget transfers. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the budget transfers for fiscal year 18-19. Motion carried unanimously. Payables. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the payables. Motion carried unanimously. Surplus property. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the list of surplus property, a police damaged 2018 Ford Explorer with the intent to salvage. Motion carried unanimously. Community business, second reading public hearing for the fiscal year 1920 budget. Judge Vogel presented for second reading public hearing proposed ordinance KOC 19-220-519 relating to the annual budget and appropriations for fiscal year 2019-20 and opened the floor for public comment. There being no public comment, the public hearing was closed. Discussion followed. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to adopt ordinance KOC 19-220-519 relating to the annual budget. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the standing order for pre-approved recurring expenses. Motion carried unanimously. Contract agreements and resolutions. County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement Fiscal Year 20. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Logsdon, to authorize the judge executive to sign the County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement and resolution for fiscal year 2020. Motion carried 8-0. Magistrate Dye was absent from the room at time of vote. Integrated Engineering Services Contract, Park and Ride. Motion made by Magistrate Lincoln, seconded by Magistrate Logsdon, to authorize the judge executive to sign the contract agreement with Integrated Engineers relating to the Apple Patch Park and Ride project. Motion carried unanimously. Committee recommendations. Parks Committee, Tetra Tech contract. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison, seconded by Magistrate Tice, to authorize the judge executive to sign the contract agreement with Tetra Tech relating to Phase 2 of the Schambach Park at Westport project. Discussion followed. Magistrate Tice called for the question. Motion carried 6-1-2 on a roll call vote. Voting yes, Magistrate Likens, Greenwell, Hounds, Hawkins, Dye, and Logsdon. Voting no, Magistrate Tice, Judge Vogel abstained, and Magistrate Harrison present. Motion failed 3-6 on a roll call vote. Judge Vogel and the following magistrates voted yes: Harrison and Hawkins. Voting no, Magistrate Likens, Tice, Greenwell, Hounds, Dye, and Logsdon. Personnel actions. Treasurer appointment. Motion made by Judge Vogel, seconded by Magistrate Dye, to reappoint Melissa Horn as County Treasurer with a term to expire June 30th, 2023. Motion carried unanimously. Police. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Hounds, to hire Russell Fuller as police officer, 5-year lateral at $24.50 base hourly rate, effective July 2nd. Motion carried unanimously. Board appointments. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon, seconded by Magistrate Likens, to approve the following board appointments. Motions carried unanimously. Oldham County Environmental Authority Board, reappoint Horace Herod with a term to expire June 30th, 2023. Pewee Valley Fire Protection District Board, reappoint Rex Florence with a term to expire June 30th, 2022. LaGrange Fire Protection District Board, reappoint Gary Bricken with a term to expire June 30th, 2022. Westport Fire Protection District Board, reappoint Rachel Murphy with a term to expire 6/30/2022. South Oldham Fire Protection District Board, appoint Mark Gardner with a term to expire June 30th, 2022. North Oldham Fire Protection District Board, reappoint Randy Shear with a term to expire June 30th, 2022. Ballardsville Fire Protection District Board, reappoint Douglas Wingert and Mark Osborne with terms to expire June 30th, 2022. Second public comment, none. Executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101B, real estate purchase. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon, seconded by Magistrate Dye, to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101B, real estate purchase. Motion carried 8-1. Magistrate Harrison voted no. Magistrate Harrison requested his objection be noted on record. He doesn't believe the discussion qualifies under the allowed exceptions for open meetings. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon, seconded by Magistrate Likens, to end the closed session and return to the regular meeting. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds, to allow the judge executive to negotiate on an undisclosed piece of property. Motion carried 8-0-1. Magistrate Harrison abstained. Magistrate Harrison requested his objection be noted on record. He doesn't believe the discussion qualifies under the allowed exceptions to open meetings. Announcements. Magistrate Greenwell thanked SPGEs for their budget presentations and discussions. Magistrate Harrison provided status update on the bridge over 18 Mile Creek. On schedule, and August 1st is still the projected completion date. Highway 524 is being resurfaced in 2 sections, and expressed his concerns regarding unacceptable and ill-mannered behavior reported over the weekends at Westport Park. June 27th is National PTSD Awareness Day. He resigned from the Parks Committee, requested to be assigned to another committee. Magistrate Likens announced annual 4th of July celebration at Wendlemore Park, all-day family fun ending with fireworks. Wished the County Attorney John Carter a speedy recovery. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell, to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting adjourned at 4:35 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from June 18th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. You just heard the Clerk Sheila Fair read that at the end of the last meeting, Magistrate Harrison requested to be assigned to another committee. He's been assigned to the Economic Development Committee. Magistrate Likens has been assigned to the Parks Committee. Time now for public comment. That's the time during our meeting when anyone who from the community has come and would like to make an announcement is able to do so or speak to the court. Do we have anyone here today who wishes to do that? Saying no one, I'm going to close public comment. I would like to welcome Christy Dutton from the Kentucky Association of Counties, who's here today visiting us, and just happens to hit a day when we have a court meeting. And it was by luck. Sometimes we have more people here than we do today, but this was a special call meeting. But we welcome you and hope you enjoy your visit to Oldham County. I'm going to move on now and ask for the first presentation we have here today, and that's from the Community Foundation of Oldham County. Travis Rice and Chuck Moore are here to update the court on a project the Community Foundation is attempting to organize. Welcome, Travis Rice.
Thank you, Judge Vogel. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time today. About 1 year ago, the Oldham County Community Foundation began an initiative known as Oldham County Workforce Readiness. It was coming off the heels of the executed project called 21st Century Oldham County, where we received recognition regionally and nationally, news coverage regionally, and so we realized at the same time that we were finishing and executing on a very successful project that, thank you, you were a part of, supporting with the $10,000 level of support. We had a lot of momentum, and we had, I think, a lot of resources to bear, talent-wise, and so on. So we started the Workforce Readiness Community Forum. We had a meeting at City Place, and we had about a dozen or so people come from employers, from nonprofit organizations, and so on. And we were trying to figure out how to solve a community need, if you will, that exists, and that need being loosely defined as a lot of people in Oldham County who aren't workforce ready, and a lot of employers who are having trouble finding employees who are workforce ready. So here we are, almost a year later and a year into this project, having leveraged the resources from a number of nonprofit organizations in our own area, like the Metro United Way, who helped us identify where the greatest need is, where the population centers are, which are primarily LaGrange, West LaGrange, and some of the other areas where the demographics are the most needy, if you will. We also worked with Kentucky Works to identify what kind of curriculum works best in a workforce readiness training program that helps people become workforce ready. We worked with employers. We've hosted employer forums, including one at East and Westbrook with Jonathan and Paul and about a half a dozen others who would come in and say, here's what we need when hiring new employees at the entry level primarily. Here are the needs we have. And perhaps our greatest asset is Matt Watkins and the Arvin Education Center, where our workforce readiness training program will be held. Matt will be the head of Oldham County Workforce Readiness. He's been involved since day one. The Oldham County Board of Education is behind leveraging the Arvin Education Center beyond the high school age group, so into the adult population, and have endorsed, supported, and encouraged Matt to continue on with this project. And so we are actually in the very late stages of project development. I would say we actually have developed the program. Within the next few weeks, we will have finalized the curriculum, and that would be, of course, what content gets presented to the audience coming into the workforce readiness training. One of the things we learned very early as we were identifying the need itself was there's a transportation issue with respect to getting people to workforce readiness training and, in fact, to the workforce or the employers themselves. Within LaGrange proper, that's not so much a gap, but we are going to use the Arvin Education Center for workforce readiness training that would occur between 3:30 and 5 p.m. on weekdays. And we also have a lot of employers, particularly in the Buckner area, who themselves are the ones in need of these entry-level, perhaps low to medium skilled positions. So we embarked upon a kind of a tangential project and worked with Mayor Black and the City Council. We presented right here a couple of months ago. We took about a 2 to 3 month period of time to get the City Council to commit to a 3-year extension of the public transportation system that exists right here in LaGrange to include the Arvin Education Center and the Buckner area employers including end of Commerce Parkway that is not part of LaGrange, and all the way down and including, say, where Treehouse Foods, Fastline Publications, East and Westbrook are, and that sort of thing. So, where are we right now? We are actually, again, almost fully baked, if you will, with respect to the project development. We are about ready to launch the program, and we are in the fundraising mode. And so our ask of $25,000 for a 3-year period of time, that's one-time ask of $25,000 to help us with our 3-year budget, enables us to execute on this project in the third quarter. So we are expecting to have the curriculum together in July. We are expecting to have the promotional and outreach program start within the third quarter, so call it perhaps August, September. And we will immediately begin incurring cost towards, in particular, the public transportation component. So our ask, of course, is for Oldham County Fiscal Court to find your way to a $25,000 grant towards this project. And would share with you that at that level, just like you were participating at what we refer to as the premier level last year, you receive recognition in the front end of the training videos that these people are seeing. Thank you to the Oldham County Fiscal Court and so on, and in the press releases that we present publicly. So I'll pause there and check, what might you add?
I just want to add that my interest, particular interest, I was in manufacturing, founded a company for 35 years, ran it both in Indiana and Kentucky. And from an employer standpoint, you've all heard the stories and read the stories about how tough it is to get employees. And that's the bottom line. I can't tell you how many times if somebody came to the door looking for a job, and if they looked like they had the skills, you'd bring them right in and talk to them and see where they are and what they could do for you. So it's really important to the employers particularly that we make these people or try to work with them and train them to be workforce ready, because it's so important when they hit the door that employers can see that there's a future for them, those people with him.
Thank you. Question?
All right, Travis, could you expound a little bit about who the people are that you feel that would be benefit from
Yes.
the development of resumes, training, how to present themselves, how to
Yes,
develop
sir.
a skill set?
Great question, sir. Loosely referred to as soft skills, these are the skills that many people lack because they haven't grown up in a household where this has been important. They maybe have grown up in a household where there's been no role model, if you will. And so at the very most basic skill level, the people who are either unemployed or underemployed and who aspire to have a job or a better job, the soft skills training will enable them to know how to interact and communicate with eye contact, to know how to talk about working on in a team environment, to know how important it is to show up to work on time and the consequences of not showing up to work on time. And body, hygiene, all these things that we take for granted, but are really some of the most basic skills. The Kentuckiana Works curriculum itself actually goes way beyond that. So Oldham County Workforce Readiness begins with the most basic level, but once people get in the program, they're going to have an option of taking a great deal more curriculum and training and so on. And we've got employers who are saying, and particularly the Buckner area employers, who are saying, if we could just get them to have these skills, these most basic skills, they're already differentiated from many of the applicants we have. And the people that we hire and find out they're not what we thought they might be, and then there's a turnover issue and a cost associated with that, and so on. The question that you asked, Judge Vogel, the demographics and the data provided to us through the Metro United Way show us that really if you just leave here and start driving towards Buckner, you're going to drive by the greatest need areas. So the demographics are the neediest, where the population center is the greatest, of course, in LaGrange, and the unemployment rate is the highest. Free and reduced lunch families is the highest. SNAP benefit families is the highest. And of course, people with a high school diploma or college degree is the lowest.
Okay, we're also talking about people who may have drug addiction problems or a past record involving illegal use of prescription drugs or something else?
Yes, sir. And we, just to be clear, we are not tackling the drug use problem itself, but we and the employers we've been working with and the workforce readiness training subject matter experts we've dealt with have all made it clear that that has to be set up front. You know, you have to be committed to a drug-free employment. So, yeah.
Okay. Magistrate Hawkins.
Would you leave a point of contact for the folks on the grants committee in case we have any questions?
Absolutely. That would be us.
Okay.
And actually,
You don't have to say it out loud,
Right,
just leave a card. or
we'll
something.
get that.
David has that for sure. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Magistrate Likens.
I just want to know how many individuals are helped by your workforce readiness program at any one time? I mean, are there, I don't know if this number is 10 or 100.
Thank you.
so.
That's a great question. In fact, a similar question asked by City Council. We would love to have the problem that the bus that drives from LaGrange to Arvin Education Center every day is full, which would be 12. Right? That, we'd love to have that problem, that we need more space. We'll deal with that if that happens. I think it's going to be a slow ramp up. I think it's going to be a handful, then the word will spread, and our outreach and our promotion of this thing. Remember, it's a 3-year project. We've got time to kind of ramp up. But I think it's on the order of a handful in the early months, and hopefully it's a dozen soon, at any given time. And Magistrate, the program is 3 weeks-ish. Now, somebody doesn't go Monday through Friday, every day from 3:30 to 5, but if they are willing to commit 3 weeks of 2 to 3 times a week, they're going to complete the workforce readiness training, and they may skip one meeting and catch the next one or something like that.
We visited with, we think, every agency that's involved in the community. And the most surprising thing to us is the one thing that was needed was transportation. They can't get people moved from spot to spot. And that's why we had to solve the transportation issue right away. But we're hoping, as was mentioned, that once we supply that transportation, that we'll get the people and we'll get them moved around.
Magistrate Harrison.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Couple of questions. Is there any special consideration for discharged veterans with an honorable discharge entering your program?
I'd have to say we haven't addressed that, but there's no cost to the participant to attend other than the $1.50 each way on the bus. So special consideration, of course, everyone is welcome to come. And since there's no cost, it's not as though we would have a discount fare or what have you.
So you're not involved in job placement, just job training?
Well, so the technical answer is no, we are not. But many of the employers are saying, if you guys, get this curriculum in front of people, we'll interview those people. This is the kind of stuff we need people to have had before they come in the door. So to the extent that that makes, that addresses your question, yeah, so it isn't a guarantee of employment, but it improves the probability of employment.
All right, second question.
Yes, sir.
To my knowledge, the Arvin Center serves all the school campuses in the county.
Mhm.
And they do bus trips back and forth to every campus. But you're asking us to consider making a significant contribution to a program focused on Buckner and LaGrange. What about the north part of the county? What about my district down at Westport? I mean,
Yes,
we've
sir.
got people down there that need this training also.
Agreed. So I believe that if you look at the lifetime of this project, it covers all of Oldham County. How do we prove that it works? We get to where the greatest need is, the concentration of population of people who have the greatest need first, and also where the employers who have those needs for those skills first solve that problem, and I think it grows from there. I would love to be standing in front of you a year from now saying, guess what, this is working so well, we actually need a few more dollars to extend it beyond the footprint we're describing right now.
Well, part of my concern is the background you described from, I get it was a GLI or someplace where you got your numbers?
Metro United Way, yes.
All right, well, okay. We have the only mobile home parks, well, of any size in Oldham County, right here in LaGrange. And many of the residents in there are there because they have a relative down here in the big house.
Okay.
That skews any kind of study anybody makes. But they're not from here. They're gonna go back to Hazard or someplace when they get done. But it distorts our availability for state funding sometimes because of the income level and the education level. I don't know if those people, and a lot of them are just single moms with kids. So it's a distorted figure that you're working with.
I actually accept that as fact, and I think we probably are all aware that anyone outside of Oldham County looking at Oldham County thinks that everybody's wealthy and everybody's got jobs and everybody, you know, the demographics as a community, a county are so strong. We're forever trying to, you know, show, especially donors, investors in projects like this, that, you know, we do have a lot to be proud of in Oldham County, but we also have a lot of need. So I really do understand what you're saying, and I'd love to say that we are in Westport and solving the problem community-wide.
Well, wait till we get the bridge fixed, then come down.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Magistrate Dye.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming today. The $25,000 you said was a 3-year ask?
Yes, sir.
Is that 25, 25, 25, or just 25?
1 times 25.
All right, and how are we going, what's the quantitative measurement? How are we going to know what that 25,000 went for? Is it just strictly for the bus transportation, or?
I actually thought that it would be simpler to say yes to that, but the reality is, Matt Watkins at Arvin is going to be the owner, if you will, the leader of this project once we execute.
Yeah.
And so he oversees the project as a whole for 3 years. So the largest, as you can see on the memo, the largest expense, 2/3 of the expense, is for the public transportation extension, which when I think intuitively about how that might fit with Oldham County Fiscal Court, it just seems like the best way to say that is yes, that it would solve the
Okay.
transportation problem.
How many people is this going to be open to, like you said people could come one day and maybe come the third day, you know,
Yes.
it's sort of like on a cycle type thing?
Yes.
How many people is this open to on any one day? The class?
If they are seeking public transportation, it's 12 per day.
Okay.
But not everyone will need public
That's
transportation.
my next question.
Well, and it's like a classroom size at Arvin Education Center.
So it could be 30 people.
30 people, yeah.
And is that I have a little background in vocational education and a vocational center. How many, is this all just preparatory work, or is there going to be some type of education and entry skill like different trade areas?
Okay, so yes and yes.
Okay.
Consider the moment, let's just pretend like you're in class right now. The first few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes of your first classes
Yeah.
would actually be a video where, for example, Bill Howard is presenting Fastline Publications and what they are in need of in the way of employees.
Right.
And then Jonathan Westbrook is doing the same thing. And then perhaps somebody from Rawlings, and then whatever. We're having we're having the students see right away, wow, this stuff must matter. These are the people I'm trying to get jobs with. This stuff, you know, so that's the first part.
It's like a miniature career fair in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of those soft skills things, my understanding is that and this really comes from the United Way and the Kentuckiana Works folks who do this every day. There are so many people who just don't know how important it is to have some of those communication skills and promptness on the workplace. And
Familiar with that, yeah.
okay, and so that is, I don't know if you'd call that vocational training.
Yes.
Okay, then yes.
Okay, but they would be available at some point in time to get the entry level skills. And I don't know what all they offer at Arvin. I don't know if it's welding, air conditioning, whatever, auto mechanics. But they would be directed in areas of their interest that way, correct?
Yes, but it's not funded through this project.
Right. I just want to make
Yes,
sure
it's
that the
an
people that's
open-
getting there is going to have like a plethora of options there.
Exactly right.
As an employer, if I got somebody that had the basics and then showed the interest in carpentry or electrician or whatever, boy, we'd put him to work. We'd take him to school. We'd make sure that he got that training.
Yeah.
And it'd be up
Okay.
to the employers.
All right, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Magistrate Hounds.
The 3-year commitment for the project, and I was kind of where Magistrate Harrison was. He's at one end of the county and I'm at the opposite end of the county, so I'm kind of on the same page. And I guess same comment is, how do we get this expanded?
Yes.
And you see it being able to be expanded, but
May I?
go ahead.
Yep. The inception of our workforce readiness training initiative almost a year ago wasn't about transportation. It was about workforce readiness training for Oldham County. It was actually months into developing the curriculum and identifying where, forgive the term, where the bodies are, where the need is greatest. We were going through those exercises and we kept hearing again and again, transportation is our greatest gap to success. So respectfully, it wasn't about trying to solve it for a geographic area until transportation became such an overriding problem that we had to solve for. And we would already have, our original design was to execute on this summer when the kids are out of school and Arvin has more time for it. Well, the reason we are not is because we ended up adding 2 to 3 months to solve the transportation problem, which is really more of a extension of the City of LaGrange bus system. And we had to do that reasonably, and that's how we've solved it the way we have. And now we still have workforce readiness available to all districts in the community, but the bus component of it is more confining.
I understand. And to add to that not at this juncture, but at a different time, can you give us information that we might be able to hand out or to post to our people that are
Absolutely.
maybe in need for this and may not even know that it exists?
Yes, sir.
That would be something nice. I guess the other piece is, are we looking for a $25,000 commitment today, or are we looking for 33 1/3 today? I mean,
Yeah, we fund upfront, so today or within the quarter is when we are launching the program, and so that's for a 3-year commitment, a 3-year project.
Okay.
I think he's asking, would you be assuming that we'll take for granted you'd like to have the entire check at once?
Yes, sir.
Can you live with half now or a third now in the future, over 2 or 3 years? All right.
We'll leave that to your.
All right,
yes,
I understand.
yes,
I
yes,
understand
yeah.
you'd like it all right up
Yes, sir.
front, but you're not going to spend it all right up front, but
Yes, correct.
nevertheless, okay.
Judge, do we need to refer this to the Grants Committee and let them work on that?
Yes, I believe so.
I would make that a motion.
All right. Grants has had some exposure to this, but wanted the entire court to hear from the representatives of the program, as to exactly how it would function, and to be able to ask any questions at that time. Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. I think there's some confusion, at least now I'm confused over what it is that you're going to provide, because when you first started, I think you were focused on interview, how to be interviewed, how to conduct yourself in an interview, how to complete an application, how to present yourself, that type of thing. And now we're talking about actual hands-on training, vocational training, but you're not doing the vocational training.
No, we're not. So the Kentuckiana Works curriculum, and in conjunction with Matt Watkins at Arvin Education Center and a number of group meetings we've had, we're using a modular approach. And the very first 4 modules make up those soft skills training. And that's really what we are trying to make sure everyone who comes through the program has. But the curriculum available on the Kentuckiana Works database and software and so on goes way beyond that. So people can elect to become more involved and seek more skills. And they're also, in the meantime, being exposed to what's going on at Arvin largely. And so we're hopeful, of course, and so is Matt Watkins and the Board of Education, hopeful that Arvin becomes more than just a middle school and high school resource.
Would it be possible to invite Matt Watkins to come and make a brief presentation to the court of what actually goes on at the Arvin Center? Because I've been down there and it's amazing.
Sure it would.
It's way beyond vocational training.
Yeah, it is for sure. And he is a solid leader. He's an asset to our community, so I'd love
I
to.
think that'd benefit us and also get the word out to the community at the same time.
He would probably also be available for the Grants Committee, as we both would be. If you'd let us know when you do meet, and we'd be glad to be there.
Mr. Moore mentioned that he had founded a business that was in Indiana and Kentucky, and that business, he didn't mention it, it's Eagle Steel was the name of that business. He
Yeah.
was in the steel distribution business, I believe.
That's right, thank you.
We've also heard Kentuckiana Works mentioned here several times. I'm one of 6, I guess, county judges in this region who are on the Kentuckiana Works Chief Executive's Board. We have heard several presentations from people who were essentially picked up and found themselves into the program and were so pleased and successful that they had been brought into a path that helped them rise up from where they were. And I believe that what you're saying here is this is to get people into the program and then have them get enthused about getting additional training, going beyond, raising themselves up past the point of where they may have been previously unable to imagine themselves. So,
Thank you. Yes, sir.
all right, we thank you very much for coming today, and we'll be back in touch with you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a
Have a
lot.
good day.
Thank you.
We've had a motion to second, I believe, to refer this to the Grants Committee. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next on our agenda today is my opportunity to swear in our new county treasurer, Melissa Horn. Melissa's been with us for the better part of 8 years, I believe, and fiscal court at the last session there was a motion and a second to approve her for a term to continue on until 2023, something like June the 30th, 2023, I believe. So, Melissa, would you please come to the front and I'll swear you in. Why don't you and I switch places? That way
We're dancing.
our camera will have a better shot of you. They see enough of me.
Okay.
All right. Melissa, do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you remain a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of Oldham County Treasurer according to law? And you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you being a citizen of this state have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations. Happy to have you back and continue on as our treasurer. All right.
Yeah, you're about to get one.
All right, go ahead. I actually thought you were going to give a speech or at least a little talk while I went to the back and picked something up. But since you're not, you can go ahead with our budget transfers.
Okay, I'm going to be asking you for two motions today. The first one is line item transfers, and this is to transfer money from one budget line item to another. As you know, we cannot be in the red on any budget line, so we have to cover that with another account that has a balance. So today's request totals $111,902.
Judge, I make that motion that we do the line transfers as Ms. Horns described for $111,902 even.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we approve the budget transfers. Is there any discussion on them? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Ah,
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the second item with transfers are the transfers between our funds. As you are all aware, jail, road, and dispatch all require funding out of general fund. So I'm presenting to you an unaudited request for fund transfers. The road to general fund, actually it's general fund to road, $638,284.24. That's a year-to-date number. General fund to jail, $279,053.24. And general fund to dispatch, $503,935.50. That totals transfers of $1,421,272.98.
Judge, I'd like to make the motion that we move these transfers of $638,284.24 from road to general fund, $279,053.24 from general fund to jail, and $503,935.50 from general fund to dispatch for a total of $1,421,272.98.
Second that.
All right, moved and seconded that the aforementioned transfers be made. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Right,
Payables?
Payables, right, the next.
Okay. Emailed out to you yesterday, it was our normal set of bills to be paid, to get everything paid by the end of the year, and then I have, is it 6 invoices that I need to add? Maybe it's 5 invoices, I apologize. 3 from Red Wing Ecological Services, 1 from Natural Products, 1 from Watts Home Center, and 1 from Crestwood Hardware.
Judge, I would make a motion, we approve the payables with these additions.
Moved and seconded that the payables with the additions that Melissa mentioned be included. Is there any discussion on them?
Judge,
Magistrate Hounds?
we don't normally see when some of these invoices were incurred, but the ones that you just handed to us have, I would consider old dates. Do we have any explanation for that?
They were presented to me this morning, so I'm going to assume they were lost or I don't know.
Okay, Jim, do you have some explanation?
I may have some explanation. This is coming from ODA. That could have been the holdup. It came through ODA to us for Pond 5 mitigation.
Okay.
Yes, I asked Red Wing to make sure that all these invoices had been paid, and there's one back from January that I don't remember ever even seeing. So they sent us all unpaid invoices, and there was confusion on who was paying them, Olda or
Correct,
us.
yeah.
So there's one from January, one from March, one from June came with that pile, so they were just catching up. The project is done. All the billing from EMS, which was the contractor that put it in, has been done, and they were, that was oversight of Pond 5.
Yeah, it was in that original money that we
Right.
sent
It's
over
all,
to
yeah,
ODA.
Pond 5
Yeah.
problems, right.
Right, yeah, that when I saw the ODA, when I saw Pond 5, because we just got handed these, that's what it's from the ODA project, Pond 5, and yes, it is, it's completed, thank God.
Magistrate Harrison?
Yes, thank you. Jim, you've signed all 3 of these, but it's got a line above your signature for a date. Should that actually have a date, or
Well, I don't usually fill in the date. I'm not sure if it's when I'm supposed to have signed it or when we pay it, but I usually just sign my name that it's been, I've checked that the
yeah.
work has been performed.
But that might have clarified some of the questions.
It was just today, then, if you want a date in there.
No.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
All right, Magistrate Tice.
But I think Jim said that you verified and you know that the work's been done and we haven't paid it twice.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, Melissa checked to make sure that those invoices have not been paid. And they are reimbursable from the state to some degree. for that
These
fund.
are not, sir.
Oh, the,
We've run out of that.
we've run out. Okay, they're not.
On our nickel, right?
Well, half of it would come from the city.
Do we have another budget transfer then to cover these
No, it's included in what I did.
in the budget transfers that we already got? Okay.
Yes, we're fine.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions?
Can I clarify one other thing,
Yes.
though? I want you to be aware, there is a page in there, the last page that says claims for July 1. And those are, you're approving something for us to pay next fiscal year, and that's for the fireworks on July 4th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Got it. It's in there.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Melissa, we're happy to have you back for another 4 years, and I don't think we gave you a round of applause, did we? We did. Not negating anyone out there, I'll say that there's no doubt that Melissa Horn is one of the outstanding treasurers in the state of Kentucky for any county government. Thank you. Well, when you say "the," I don't know who the competition is, but I'll say outstanding. And
If I were you,
we
I'd say
think-
"the" and just let it
All
go
right,
with that.
we won't argue about a preposition. All right. Thank you very much. All right. The next item here has to do with a resolution increasing the fee on the removal of dead animals. Harmon's has raised their price. They pick up dead animals and have a removal service, and they've raised their bill to $95, and so we're recommending that the cost to share for our farmers be raised to $35. And so this is a resolution here, 0106-28-19, whereas in the interest of protecting the health and safety of citizens, Oldham County assists animal owners with the cost of removing deceased animals that have died on private property. And whereas Oldham County Fiscal Court has an arrangement with Harmon's Dead Animal Removal Service to pick up animal carcasses at $95 each. And whereas Oldham County Fiscal Court receives grant funding from the Oldham County Conservation District, which covers a portion of the cost to remove dead animals, now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court hereby sets a dead animal carcass removal fee of $35 per animal to be paid by the animal owner upon invoicing from Oldham County Fiscal Court. So is there a motion that this resolution
So
be
moved.
passed? Okay. Is there any discussion on it?
Judge, I have one.
Magistrate Harrison.
Could somebody define dead animal? We talk about
well-
dead large animals or just any animal?
I believe we're speaking about dead large animals.
It is large
Maybe
animals,
we ought
so
to put
not
that-
dogs and cats.
Or goats, sheep?
It is goats, sheep, cows, horses, llamas. No. No cats, no dogs. No cats, no dogs.
Would it be simpler to say anything but a household pet?
Pardon?
A normal household pet of a dog or cat?
Right, probably.
I mean, you could have big dogs, but that's still a household pet. Right.
I think the principal intent here is to encourage people not to dispose of a cow or a horse in a sinkhole or some
Or
other
pond
way.
or a creek.
Right. It's to help them maintain the public safety, and we've done this for years, and there's never been any issue with small animals being picked up. It's all basically animals that you can't, probably the easiest definition would be one you can't pick up yourself. And I don't know if that'd include a goat or not. Maybe you could pick up a goat, but anyway. Magistrate Greenwell, you're our agriculture expert here.
You are very close to it, Judge. I mean, if it's something you can't pick up and throw in the back of a pickup truck or something like that, then it's a large animal. I've had 2 die in the last 3 years, and I've buried both of those myself, but I have that option, so.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Right, we have had in the past, and I believe we still have it, don't we have some kind of compost situation that the animal control for small animals that you find?
Yes,
that,
if someone is unable to bury their pet on their property, they can bring it to animal control and we can bury it in our compost.
Right. Is there any, Magistrate Hawkins, do you have a question on it?
I'm just interested, how is this enforced? Like, if you find a dead cow on a road, then you just find the...
Usually it's a farmer who has one that dies in their field. So they don't just
Okay.
leave it in the field, because that's against state law. You can't just leave one.
Thank you for clarifying that for me.
And then they would call dispatch. It has to go through dispatch.
Okay, thank you.
Magistrate Tice,
What was the owner paying prior to this?
25, wasn't it?
$25.
25.
Refresh my memory, thank you.
Seeing no further questions, and with the motion in the second, all in favor of the increase, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on the agenda has to do with a transfer of real estate. County Engineer Jim Silliman will review that with the court.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What this agreement for, just very basically, is there's a corner cut, small corner cut of property where Quality Place intersects Highway 146 that the county needs to acquire. The existing road encroaches on this slightly, and this agreement is just, it's basically an agreement to outline the process that we're going to go through to get that corner cut dedicated to the county.
Make that motion.
Second?
All right, moved and seconded that we go ahead and accept this donation to the county from JR Foods into, it's basically a little triangle at Quality Place there. It's just a little corner spot.
It's- the legs of the triangle are about 35 to 40 feet each. It's very relatively small.
Is there any discussion? Magistrate Hawkins?
Can you explain to me, there was something in here about IGA. Could you,
The property that the corner cut is coming from is where the proposed Houchins IGA property is, where that proposed development lies. It's at the southwest corner of Quality Place and 146.
did you say housing development?
Houchins IGA.
Oh, okay.
The
okay,
name, I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Right, Houchins IGA of Bowling Green plans to build a retail store there, grocery store, small grocery store, like the one in Prospect, right, or Goshen, right.
Somebody just told me this was all pre-January 1st, so that's why I don't know exactly everything about it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you. This may be a Jim Urban question. Can this be transferred without a survey and without a deed?
We've actually had some survey completed, so to finalize that, it shouldn't be difficult at all.
There's a drawing in your package, and we aren't going to have a legal description. We're going to use that drawing to transfer the property.
And that's because we're government, we can do that? If we're not government, we could not.
They'll have a minor plat, they'll have a minor plat that severs this little piece from their land.
Right.
For the purposes of this agreement, we don't have a survey. If that, I thought that's what you were asking about, was this
No, I mean,
agreement.
before it's formally executed and we come to our property.
Formally
it will be.
executed, there will
Gotcha,
be a
okay.
minor plat that severs this little piece, yes.
That's great,
I'm
thank you.
sorry.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, from the Road Committee, under committee recommendations, Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. And Jim, I'm see you stayed up there, and that's great. You go ahead and walk us through this erosion control bond release.
Again, quite simply, this is for the O'Reilly Auto Parts that was constructed in Crestwood, and they've met the requirements of the erosion control bond, and we're recommending that be released.
Is there a motion that we release this bond, $13,200 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts store in Crestwood? Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
One opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, thank you, has to do with a resignation from dispatch. Dennis Tegetoff, effective today.
Make that motion, Judge.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're at our second public comment for today's short meeting. Is there anyone who's come in who would like to address the fiscal court? All right. At this point, I see no one coming forward, so we'll see if the magistrates have any final comments for today. Magistrate Logston? Magistrate Dye?
Same thing, be careful with the fireworks if you have them, watch your children. They can get hurt very quickly and sometimes very bad.
Magistrate Hawkins?
There's going to be a fun family event on July 4th at Wendell Park from 2 to 10, if you'd like to come enjoy the festivities, with fireworks starting at 10.
All right, Magistrate Hounds?
Yes, Judge, thank you. I've received a couple of complaints, and some of them aren't even in my district, but about people blowing grass on the roads, and apparently it's very slippery for people on motorcycles. I don't have one, so I can't speak to that, but I would just ask that people try not to blow the grass onto the roads. I understand that sometimes it can't be helped. And same thing echoing about the safe fireworks. There's a lot of people that like to shoot fireworks off. Just be conscious of your neighbors and your family and friends. We don't want to see anybody get hurt during the season.
Right, and we do have on our website, the Oldham County Fiscal Court, you can, under Fiscal Court, you'll find the fireworks ordinance. If you're questioning on the 4th of July, people can shoot fireworks off until midnight. Any other night, it's 11 p.m. Magistrate Greenwell.
I was going to say, Judge, please be considerate of your neighbors when you are setting off fireworks and not do it at crazy hours. Also, just got back, along with some other magistrates today, from the joint conference between the County Judges Association and the Magistrates and Commissioners Association. It was a very good conference, and today we got to hear the candidates for public state office speak. And it was very good, and it was worth the trip up there, even with the traffic accident on I-64. We still managed to get back. So.
Thank you. Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. Two things. The Highway 524, two large sections of that have now been resurfaced and striped. One of them's from Main Street going upriver to Hurricane Hollow. People down there know what that is. And then up on the ridge itself, from where they stopped paving earlier down past the Covington Ridge Baptist Church. And it's been striped, looks good, travels well. There's still more work that needs to be done, but we'll take what we can get. The bridge is still on schedule. They're putting steel in there now, and they're scheduled to pour the deck on Wednesday and let it cure over the holiday weekend and come back in the following Monday and resume work on it. So we're still shooting at August 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Magistrate Tice.
Nothing, Judge.
Magistrate Likens.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Again, I wanted to say what Stephanie said about the fireworks at Wendell Park. It's a great fireworks show. It lasts almost a half an hour long. It's 5 or 10 minutes to get out of the place after the fireworks are over. It's not like Thunder over Louisville where it takes hours. So they do a very good job of directing traffic, and it's a good, fun family event.
Right. We're actually going to have activities there most of the day. Right. It won't be just fireworks. We invite everyone to come out and enjoy the pool and food trucks and games, things that the Park and Rec Department has planned. I didn't do it at the beginning of the meeting, but I certainly want to do it now, and that's welcome John Carter back. John was not here at the last meeting. John is, sustained, well, not sustained, but traveled to the Cleveland Clinic, and we're very happy to see you back here today, looking good, and I hope you're feeling good, and and
Thank you, Judge. It's good to be back.
right.
I don't recommend the surgery to anybody, but if you got to have it, that's a place to go.
Well,
And I had a congenital defect in my aortic valve that I've had since birth, and it had been nobody found it until I went to the Cleveland Clinic, and so it had been that way so long. I had to have a lot of things done, so I had to have open heart surgery to get it all corrected. So, but I'm back, nothing else wrong, good shape, ready to go.
Well, great. You've been on our minds while you were gone, and we're happy to see you sitting here
Thank you
today
for all
again.
your prayers and everything.
You're very welcome. I'm going to ask Kevin Nuss to come forward now and before our meeting began, we gathered up here behind my seat and we took a picture. And I want to show you that picture now. If we can get it up here on our screen. It's up there. Is it on? Can we get it on our TV? Pardon? Okay. This sign obviously says speed strictly enforced. What's this all about? We all know about I-71. It's a continuing problem in our county. It is being worked on by the State Transportation Cabinet, but there's a long way to go before the safety that all of us want will be there. Beginning next week, Oldham County Police will step up enforcement significantly on I-71. On Tuesday, we're going to have 6 officers out there, and we're going to write tickets, and we're going to be very strict about it. There are accidents so far this year. We have had 131 collisions on the 14 miles that make up I-71 in Oldham County. Our police have issued 667 tickets, 352 courtesy notices. That's 1,150 pieces of activity on our interstate. The main thing that all of us in the fiscal court want is safety for everybody in this county. We can drive safely, but we encourage everyone in Oldham County to think about the safety and the security of each person that's on the road. Being in a hurry, there is no excuse for trying to get to Jefferson County 5 or 3 minutes sooner than you would by going the speed limit. Someone called me the other day from out of the county, asked if I could help out a young man. Well, we do have a traffic diversion school. If you get a ticket, if you're the county attorney, he'll let you can come to a class they have to try to get this in your head. The young man, 26 years old, was doing 90 miles an hour. When I found out, I said, "There's no way I'm going to help you." I said, "You're trying to kill somebody out there." He's thoughtless, 90 miles an hour. I don't want my daughter riding in a car with a guy going 90, and I don't think anybody else does either. And I don't want that person out there on the road with my wife or anybody's spouse or children. So I've asked the police to step up the enforcement. We have 2 of these signs made. We're going to do our best to get them out on the interstate. We have a couple of spots where it says, "Welcome to Oldham County." I'd like to put them up right there. We do need permission from the Transportation Cabinet, and we'll be swimming upstream probably trying to get that, but we're going to try to get it because we have to slow people down. There's only two ways that we can manage the circumstance until the interstate is widened out, and that is either by controlling speed or just keeping people off the road, or I can't manage your inattention. If you're going to put your makeup on the way to work, or talk on your phone, or eat your breakfast cereal in your lap, and or going to go excessively, we have to bear down on you at this point. And we don't apologize for it because safety for all of our citizens comes ahead of anybody's personal transportation objective if it's beyond the speed limit. Speed limit's out there for a reason, and so the police will be out there. They're going to be there, and we're going to be aggressive about it because the safety of our county depends on it. So I ask everyone's cooperation. I announce this today. Don't want anybody to get a ticket. If you'll drive the speed limit, you won't get one. If you insist on going too fast, well, you're endangering everyone in our county. We have over 70,000 vehicles a day go through this county. We have 60-some thousand cars come into Oldham County and between 12 and 13,000 trucks. Anybody going 90 miles an hour down the road has to be weaving between vehicles. There's no other way for it. There's no clear path. So that's got to stop, and we're going to do our best to try to get it to stop for the safety of all concerned. So I thank everybody on the fiscal court for participating in the picture, and everybody here wants everyone to be safe. And so we'll try to do what we can to create the circumstance and until the interstate is widened out to 6 lanes all the way to Henry County. And of course, we'll want it to be safe after that as well. But we don't have enough lanes for as fast as people are traveling. Okay, that's my final announcement for today. Wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Magistrate Lund.
Did you want to say anything about the food pantry pamphlet we received? Or was that just information purposes?
Food pantry? I don't have it. I did receive it, but I didn't bring one in here. We do have, does someone have it here? Okay. Thank you. I didn't know that I was supposed to announce this today, but we do have 6 food pantries, or at least 5 operating in Oldham County. Beulah Church Baptist Church on the Tuesdays, Bread of Life Food Pantry in Goshen on Wednesdays, High Point and LaGrange on Mondays, Saturdays, and Thursdays. Beulah Church is also on Thursdays. Immaculate Conception Church, you can pick up non-perishable items there, but you have to call ahead. And the Red Cross is Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. Please call for an appointment. So we don't think of ourselves as living in a food desert here, but there are people who don't have proper nourishment, apparently. And these organizations are here to help. And if anybody didn't get that, they can call my office, and we'll have that information available at our reception desk.
When we were at the magistrates and the judges and magistrates conference, they talked about the fact that children are able to get quality nourishment during school, but that the summer months it lacks because they're not able to receive it during appropriate time during school lunches. So,
thank you. Does anybody else have anything for today other than Magistrate Greenwell?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
On that thing, when you send it in.